The content in this video is for general educational use. It does not represent political opinions or judgments about any country, culture, or government. Information is based on publicly available sources and may be summarized or simplified. Viewers should verify details through multiple sources.
Today, we're diving into the United Arab Emirates, a country that is just full of the most amazing contrasts. On one hand, you have a society built on centuries of really deep-rooted tradition. And on the other, it's racing to build a future that honestly looks like it was pulled straight out of a sci-fi movie. So let's get into this incredible story of transformation. And this, right here, this really says it all. On the left, that's the majlis, a traditional space for community, for politics, for storytelling. Then on the right, you've got a fusion reactor, representing a future powered by limitless clean energy. It's this exact tension, between heritage and this kind of hyper-modernity that we're going to be unpacking. So here's how we're going to tackle this. First, we'll look at the foundations of identity. Then we'll see how the UAE is turning itself into a global knowledge hub. After that, we'll get into how it's literally engineering tomorrow's world. And finally, we'll explore the big questions this all raises as a nation in transition. All right, first things first, to really get where the UAE is going, you have to understand where it comes from. So let's start with that cultural bedrock, the stuff that shaped Emirati society for centuries. Here, culture is literally built into the architecture. Traditional homes, for example, they were designed around these central courtyards. This created these private family sanctuaries, but it also, very cleverly, provided natural cooling from the desert heat. And the majlis, that was so much more than just a living room. It was the social and political heart of the community. It's where decisions were made, where consensus was built, and where history was passed down. Okay, so for decades, this really unique social contract called rentierism shaped the whole nation. Essentially, the state used its incredible oil wealth to give its citizens pretty much everything: extensive welfare, secure government jobs, a tax-free life. Now, the unspoken agreement was that, in return, citizens wouldn't really demand a say in politics. This wasn't just some economic model, it was the very foundation of the modern UAE. It defined the entire relationship between the people and their leaders. But that whole era of just relying on oil, well, it's coming to an end. And this is where the big pivot begins. The UAE is now building a totally new vision, one where its most valuable resource isn't buried underground, but it's actually in the minds of its people. The nation is in the middle of this massive transformation into a global hub for research and innovation. Just look at the sheer diversity of research that's happening at places like NYU Abu Dhabi. It perfectly illustrates this shift. You've got projects on Shakespeare's influence in the Middle East, right next to pioneering work on blockchain and advanced encryption. They're studying marine life in the Gulf and even the epigenetics of malaria. I mean, just think about what that means. This isn't just a small adjustment. It is a complete reinvention into a knowledge-based economy. And we're not just talking theory here. Students are getting their hands dirty, tackling some of the world's most complex problems head-on. They're working on cybersecurity for self-driving cars, creating encryption that can hopefully resist quantum computers, and contributing to breakthroughs in global health. They aren't just learning about the future. They are literally out there building it. So, this brings us to the UAE's wildest ambitions. We're moving beyond research now and into a phase where they are actively trying to engineer tomorrow's world. This is all based on data-driven speculation and this deep belief in technological solutions for humanity's biggest challenges. If you want to understand the scale of this ambition, just think about this number: $700 quintillion. That's the estimated value of the gold in just one asteroid that NASA is tracking right now. Now, of course, space mining is still a ways off, but the very fact that leaders are planning for an economy that includes off-world resources, it just reveals the incredible scope of their long-term vision. And back here on Earth, the focus is squarely on the next big technological wave. Generative AI is expected to add over $4 trillion to the global economy. And the UAE's strategy? It's not just to get a piece of that pie. They want to be one of the bakeries, a key player in developing and shaping this transformative technology. A big part of this forward thinking is also about asking these really provocative what-if questions. A recent report posed scenarios just like this one. With antibiotic resistance becoming a global crisis, what if the solution wasn't a new drug, but bioengineered viruses that could precisely target and destroy harmful bacteria? It's a radical idea, right? It challenges our entire approach to medicine. Or how about this one? What if a global network of smart, collaborative robots could manage our entire supply chain? From making things to delivering them, they could predict disruptions, optimize routes in real time, and get rid of waste. This isn't just about being more efficient. It's about building a much more resilient global economy. But look, this vision isn't just blind optimism. They're taking a balanced approach, carefully weighing the pros and the cons. Take nanomedicine, for instance. The benefits are revolutionary. Catching diseases earlier than ever, delivering drugs directly to cancer cells, easing the strain on our healthcare systems. But the risks are just as real. We don't know the long-term side effects, and the potential for error is high. It's a calculated gamble on innovation. And this is the ultimate prize. The pursuit of breakthrough technologies like room temperature fusion, the dream of limitless, safe, and clean energy that could solve climate change and power our civilization for thousands of years. This is really the endpoint of that whole ambitious tech-driven vision. But this all-out sprint towards the future doesn't happen without challenges. This incredible transformation is creating some powerful undercurrents, and it's raising some really complex social and cultural questions for the nation. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. This quote from the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace gets right to the heart of it. As the UAE rushes to embrace this global future, there's a growing concern at home about what might be getting lost in the process, a fear that the national identity is being watered down in favor of a global one. You see, that old social contract we talked about is being actively rewritten. That rentier model is fading away. In 2021, citizenship was offered to select foreigners for the first time, something that was previously unthinkable. The national weekend was changed to line up with global markets, not regional ones. And now, taxes are being introduced while some welfare benefits are being reduced. Every single one of these moves is a deliberate break from the past. And while all these policies are designed to attract the world's best talent and make the UAE more competitive, they are creating some real friction at home. Some Emiratis feel like they're being crowded out of the job market and worry that their culture is changing to accommodate a huge expatriate population. It raises a really fundamental question. Who is this new future actually being built for? And that leaves us with the fundamental question for the UAE today. It's a dilemma that lots of nations face, but I don't think it's more pronounced anywhere else. As the UAE continues this breathtaking sprint into the future, its biggest challenge might not be technological, but cultural, figuring out how to build a truly global nation without leaving its own soul behind.